All right, we've got an interesting video today. I am actually going to video me editing a video. I don't know if it's of any interest to people, but I figured at least a behind the scenes might prove enlightening. And who knows, if you're trying to follow down the same path and make some videos, especially multicam angles like I do, this might serve as some kind of guide for you. But I am using DaVinci Resolve. This is a free program with payable upgrades that I have not paid for, so everything you're seeing here can be done for free. The program itself is pretty easy to use. If you've used any Adobe video editing products, it shares similarities. But let's get started. So just recently, I did a video flying with Brian and Austin out in Yadkinville, where Austin let me try his Speedster 3. So we are going to make a video about that. So on the left side here, we've got the media pool where you import videos. Then we got a viewer. Then we have the timeline layout. So in the media pool, I'm going to create bins, which are basically little folders. So we go to new bin, and I'm going to name them for each camera angle I have, which is head, wing, selfie, but I just type self, and chase cam, but I just type chase, just so I can keep those straight. Then I will open up, in this case, head, import media, and we are going to find in my video folder the head folder. I've already imported all of these, loaded them from my SD cards onto the computer in corresponding categories. Select all of those. Go ahead and change the frame rate. I think it defaults to 30. I record in 60. And do that for each section. All right, now that we've got those laid out, I like to start with my head cam. Two reasons. It's usually the one that's recorded the most, and also it's the one that picks up audio. So I will go down here to the Edit tab. I prefer this layout over the cut layout. We're going to open up the head folder here and basically just go through numerically each file. So we got 510, 511, 512, 513, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. GoPro does a weird thing where if it's a long video clip, they'll do, this is 10517, 20517. So these are back to back. All the others are start and stop. But if it runs over their individual parceled file size limit, they add a 2 in the front of it. So we're just going to drag and drop. I like using the Edit tab here because it gives you audio information at the bottom. Drag and drop. So the beginning of this was Brian's flight.
Like,
Gonna go ahead and mute that for your sake. And looks like Austin's flyby. And then my takeoff. And I think the selfie camera had someone's flying. That wasn't me.
press
That's Brian's landing. That was the wing camera. I got Bobby's takeoff. That's what it was. All right, so I've got those, which are kind of like the pre-flying bits. I know this one was a botched takeoff, so we're going to delete that. Yep, that was a launch. Good job, Brian. He landed on his feet. Did a fantastic flight. This was Austin. Yep, just a flyby, and then Bobby's launch. All right, then we're going to get to the meat of the video, which I'll put a small space here. That's where I drop my little tile that has my channel on it. And we're going to start in earnest with the actual flight video. You see these are quite a bit longer, so we'll zoom out just a touch. And just going in order. Let's see. Oh, that was Brian flying by. May or may not use that, but it doesn't go here. So this was my flying, my landing. So really just 3 clips. Takeoff, flight, landing. We're going to expand the timeline just a bit because I'm going to add in several layers on here. All right, so now that we've got those 3, we're going to line up the other angles. So we'll go into the other bins, so the wing bin. Yeah, and this one is the takeoff, so it goes right here. You'll notice the audio populates down below it. We're actually going to delete that audio. Because the only audio I really care about is what's recorded from my microphone, which is the headcam audio. Do the same thing for the selfie. Now this one is a bit annoying. Usually when I start the selfie camera, it starts upside down because the camera on the stick is pointing down towards the ground. So we add that. But when I first start the video, you'll see inverted. So really, really, really simple. You just go up here to the video inspector pane, rotation angle 180, 180 degrees. Flip it. Done, done, done. Good. And one more of the chase cam. Once again, not interested in the audio from that chase cam because it's all just wind noise. There we go. Now, multicam is actually really easy to do and it's very useful. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of the head cam options, these 3, right click, and we're going to make a new compound clip up here at the top. We'll rename it head, and this turns it into one solid video with no breaks. Same thing, so this is the wing, compound clip, selfie stick with the rotation already implemented there, compound clip, and the chase cam. Okay, with those 4, you can actually delete them. So backspace, not the delete key, backspace, otherwise it ripples the whole timeline because we want to keep this audio that came off of the head camera. And now we go up here and you'll see we have chase, wing, self, and head. Select these 4 up here in the media pool window. All right, right click, and we're going to create a new multicam clip. Chase multicam. Just hit create. And there it is. So this has all of our angles in it. We're going to load it into the video 2 slot actually, so we don't overwrite the head cam audio. That might be a sloppy way of doing it, but that's the way I know how to do it. So as we look down here at the chase cam, you'll see it's only one angle, and it looks like it's chosen to use the selfie angle. To be able to switch between them, we go up here to this left window, hit this down arrow. Instead of source, we're going to look at multicam. So with this piece of the timeline selected, we now have all 4 of our angles here. And you'll notice angle 1 is still inverted because that's what the original source material was, but in the actual picture, it's not. So don't worry about that. Basically, now we just watch it. We're going to go through and we're going to click between the angles that we want to see. For takeoff, I think I want to see angle 4, which is chase cam. And we just hit play. I'm going to turn the audio on and scrub through this. I really like the chase cam view as I launch. you'll see the whole wing come up over the camera. I think it's a pretty cool angle. Zoom, there it goes. Now you'll notice these other angles aren't really usable until we get into the air, especially not the selfie one. See me deploying it there. And my wing camera view was a little too narrow this time. I forgot to change it, but it still looks good. And now that I have the selfie available, I will switch over to that. I'm on a phone call with Brian through this flight. That's the talking. I like to shuffle through all of my angles after takeoff. I don't know, just establishes what the views are going to be for the flight. Might just be a weird personal thing. A lot of this I'm going to cut out. It's not going to be this long and this blank, but I like to get all of my angles down before I go and make those cuts to the length of the video. Just backing it up a bit, I think I did something cool with the selfie stick here. Just watch up there. So I stow the brake. And reach for the selfie stick. We'll go back to the chase camera while I fiddle with that. And now that I've gone through and done all of the timeline snippings, you'll see it's cut up into several little bits. Each bit corresponds with a different view. So you see them switch through all the way through there. I'm going to just watch through and cut out unnecessary junk. I do this process probably 3 or 4 times. I really struggle with getting my videos down to what YouTube considers reasonable, I suppose. And they always end up being, 15 to 20 minutes when viewer retention is typically down in the 5 to 6 minute range. So I try to snip them down as far as possible. So like right here, I'm going to stop. Zoom in just a touch. I'm going to use the blade tool, which is hotkey B. Cut it there. This is just a takeoff. You saw me get off the ground. That was the interesting part. There's a selfie camera. I try not to cut back to the same video angle so you don't get that jarring effect. Let's see what it's like playing from here. Actually, we're going to play it from right there. So all of this now we're going to delete. Just select it all, hit the delete key, shortens the video. So now we go from takeoff, which was relatively uneventful, to a selfie shot at 500 feet. The flying itself is super exciting, but watching it, kind of boring. Boom. Looking cool, yep. And then that switches back to the multicam of the wing. I left a huge space here, which usually means nothing super interesting happens. I don't see anybody else in the shot. Just scrubbing through it quick here. Yeah.
My headset has low battery, so if I suddenly stop talking to you, that's my headset has low battery.
As an added bonus, my voice has a natural cut right there, so we're going to slice out all of that as well. I think the meat of this video is going to be the low flying over the fields down in here, and also trying out the speedster wing. So keep playing it here. So timing it with my voice, looks like that would be a good cut there. And if I can get him in frame again, this is Brian flying. I'm gonna cut that out. So I'm just shortening it, bunching it down, finding places where there's a bunch of dead time, um, you know, snipping rather judiciously. And actually, we're going to go a little past this to there so I don't have my voice in it. The swoop over to the other side of Brian's wing is pretty cool from that angle. Do another break there. Probably all of this to the next angle. Again, cutting my voice out where the break doesn't make sense. So that's distance gained, like I said I would. We'll cut the rest of that out. And then the backwards facing selfie camera grabs Bobby in shot, so we'll add that in. You see now I'm down in the 2-minute range instead of where this was, somewhere in the 8-minute range. Okay, said what I wanted to say, had Bobby in the shot. Let's fast forward until we clear this field. Hey, there's Austin. So that's over a minute and a half snipped down now. Just me keeping an eye on Brian. Yep, I'm gonna break it there. Scrub through it a little more. And it looks like this break here where there's no audio is a camera cut. Yep, so that's where I stopped and then restarted later on. So I actually want to go, if I break here, I would want a different angle so it's not so sudden. So we're watching here looking to the left and then boom, snap to the right. Looks very jarring. So I would right click on this and switch to say angle 4. So when you go through the cut, it's a camera angle cut, not a time cut. Makes a little more sense. Nothing really interesting happens right there though, so we're going to skip all of that. There's Brian flying. There's Bobby. Ooh, this is the part where I race Bobby. I think I'll add that in. So all of this is gone. We just keep snipping down. So here we are, all cut down. You see each of these vertical breaks in the audio line is a cut. So now instead of being almost 20 minutes long, we're down to just over 5, which still leaves room for other people's takeoffs and landing.
Keep those legs moving. Make sure you pull back, run ready.
So you don't need to hear me tell Brian how to take off. Just clipping down, extra fluff, get it all down nice and short. So this is, yep, just over 5 minutes, which is great for a half-hour flight. Now we're going to go and add from the head section the second part of this video, which is basically me flying a speedster. Now, this one I'm not going to cut down quite as much because, in my mind, that's the most interesting thing I did today. But you'll see me disconnecting my speed bar off of my motor because I'm obviously not going to be flying speed bar on this thing. But it looks like I am walking towards it here. Yes. So we're going to start the video there. And looks like this second part is just my thoughts. So we're going to play through all this, do the same thing, snip it down. The difference is I only have my helmet camera on for this, so it's going to be a shorter, less visually interesting piece, but we'll get to snipping. All right, and that's all I've got for the speedster flying. So I still broke it down fairly small. We go from a timeline position of 5:17 to 10:26, so 5 minutes worth of what was actually a 10-minute flight, but I wanted to keep in a lot of the flying and the audio for that. So our whole timeline, we've got multicam clips for 5 minutes or so, and then a single head clip. All of the audio is from the head, and I'm also actually right here going to add in Brian's landing, which I believe I recorded on my selfie stick. Yep. Plop that guy in there. It's a longer shot. I used the linear view, but it's still fairly small. So we're going to
Okay, out of the seat.
really only catch the end of it. And we're also going to do a zoom. So
There you go. Nice.
we'll stop it right about there. And we're going to zoom in just a little bit.
Eyes on the horizon. Ready to run. Watch my hands.
Move it down just a touch.
There you go. Nice. Okay, out of the seat. Engine off. Press and hold. Press and hold. Okay, eyes on the horizon. Ready to run. Watch my hands. There you go.
Right here, he does this victory cry. So we're going to add a title. Just drag and drop over here. Victory screech. Make it a little smaller. Put some rotation on it because that makes it funny, right?
There you go. Nice. There you go. Nice.
Okay, that was a good landing, Ryan. And all of this, I want to drag back kind of in the general direction, like so. A little closer. I do want fades to black, but I don't want dead time between them. Now we're going to import some music. So what I use a lot is from two websites. One is called Bin Sound, and the other is called free-stock-music. Free-stock-music. So you'll see things like this, FSM, 6 minutes. That sounds good. I like to use stuff that's a little longer, and because this whole sequence goes pretty quick, I actually know this song, Punch Deck, is pretty quick. So we're going to open that and drag it on in down on the bottom. So now when you listen to it,
Flip hop.
lots of music, and it's really loud. I like to normalize this down quite a bit, somewhere in the 20 range. You want it to be in the background, but you don't want it to take over everything. And also, I want it to last a little longer. If you'll notice, it doesn't reach towards the end. So I've got two tricks. I either change clip speed down to about 85 or 90%, or copy. This is my favorite. Paste. Look at that. Now I also have a break here, so I'm going to actually shorten this one so that it stops. When I stop flying, we'll watch Brian's great landing, and then it'll pick up again with the speedster flying, and it's almost perfect length. Also on the audio note, I'm going to change all of these really fat sections. Just select multiples of them. And we're going to normalize audio levels to, let's say, -5. Shrink them all down so it's not quite as ear blastingly loud. Same thing on these from here over. Basically, whenever the engine's running, normalize at -5. These seem to be pretty loud too, so we're going to normalize those to probably 0. Oh, I want 0 actual decibels. I don't want to blast everyone's ears out. And the engine running scenes. So we're going to select basically everywhere the engine is on and droning along. It's an audio filter. If you go over to audio, Farlight effects, there's one for noise reduction. Drag and drop, and it'll apply it to all of these, but you have to select the same thing over and over again, which gets a little annoying. So the default one works, but I've calibrated it to work on paramotor engine. So PPG engine, something like that, close. And it's just going to be doing that until this window disappears. There we go. So all of these down here that say FX, 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 those have all had it applied, and even the smaller ones where it doesn't, if you zoom in far enough, you see they all say FX. So now the noise limiting has been added to it. Now, when you listen,
I finally did it. I finally beat Bobby in speed.
you hear a lot less
By
engine drone.
maybe 1 mile an hour. It was a good one.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Music is still a little loud, so we're going to drag it down just a little bit, maybe 23. There we go. Right here, I'm going to add my little channel logo. When there's breaks for an intro or an outro, I usually do that. So again, import media. I save that in my pictures folder. Don't mind the memes. There it is. drag and drop. And whenever I do this, I usually fade to black, so I use cross dissolve, which is toolbox, and it's over here on cross dissolve. So dissolve in, dissolve out, dissolve in. Cool. Scroll on over. There's the next break. We want to dissolve out on my landing, dissolve back in on the takeoff, and I'm also going to add a cross fade so that the audio fades with it. And then again at the end, cross dissolve on video, cross fade on audio, add my little logo again, fade it, or dissolve it in and out. Voila. Might as well normalize these down just a bit too. Okay, that's pretty much it, guys. This is what the normal 4-camera timeline looks like for any one of my videos. If you are using DaVinci, I hope this helped. If you're not using DaVinci, maybe this convinces you. It's free. At least what I'm doing here is free. So everything you saw me do, I did not pay for the ability to do it. We're going to go over and export it. And those always work fine. I export in 1080p. I've never seen a need to do any more than that. Add to render queue and hit render. If you've enjoyed this video and learned something, drop a comment down below. The likes and subscribes always help, but chances are if you're watching this video, you've already subscribed. Tell your friends. If you're into making paramotor videos, hopefully this gave you some ideas. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.